Okay, it's 3 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we'll see if anybody else joins us. So today we are talking about bubbles, and we're going to make a bubble blower today. So I have a nice little slideshow for you guys. Okay, so bubbles. Okay, so what exactly is a bubble? Do you guys know what a bubble is exactly? Any ideas? Okay, so a bubble is just air wrapped in a soapy film. To make this film, you typically have to use soap and water. The outside and the inside of a bubble consists of soap molecules, and a thin layer of water lies between those two layers of soap molecules, and they work together to hold the air inside. So that's how you get a bubble. Now, why are bubbles round? Do you guys know why bubbles are round? No? Okay, well, bubbles can stretch and become all kinds of silly shapes. So if you've ever seen like bubble wands and stuff, sometimes they're really big, long ovals, or they can be square, or they can be all these silly and funny different shapes. But once the bubble is actually sealed shut, once you blow it and make the bubble will shrink into that sphere shape, the round circular shape. And this is because a sphere has the smallest surface area for the amount of volume. That's why bubbles are sphere, because they're the smallest. Why do bubbles pop? Why does a bubble typically pop? Let's see. Sometimes a bubble will pop if you poke it, or if they happen to on something sharp. But when bubbles pop on their own, it's usually because the water between the soapy film surface has evaporated. It's gone away. So that's usually why the bubble will pop. Okay. Did you know that in colder weather, though, those molecules actually take longer to evaporate? So what do you think could happen to a bubble in cold weather? Have you ever seen anything happen to a bubble in colder weather? Go ahead, answer the question.
It will freeze.
It will freeze. In colder weather, so if you blow a bubble on a cold winter day, it could possibly freeze, and it will usually take several minutes before it will pop. Okay, so today, you guys should have some pipe cleaners in your handy dandy little kit. And we're gonna make a bubble wand. So if you have like beads and stuff at home, you can add those to like add decoration to your bubble wand. For me, I'm just kind of gonna get it into a circle shape. Maybe I'll try and make a funky like square or something and see what happens to my bubble. But I'm gonna make this one a circle, and let's see, this one, I'm gonna try a square. I'm gonna see if I can make a square.
Can you stop sharing so we can see it a bit?
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, so the first one, I just kind of made it a circle, and I just kind of folded it over so that you could just make a circle. Yep, just like that. And then this one, I think I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna try and see if I can make a square. Okay, because you guys came in just a tiny bit late, but we were talking about how bubbles come out in a circle shape. They come out round because that is the smallest of volume. So even if you make funky shapes and stuff like my square, it'll still come out as a circular bubble. Okay, so we'll see. What? We will test it a little bit and see if the square will actually come out as a circle. But okay, so we're gonna go back to the presentation for a second because I have up here 2 bubble recipes, okay? So I found both of these recipes online for how to make bubbles at home, okay? And I've made both of them today already, so that we can test out which one we think is better to use to do bubbles, okay? So this first batch that I made is just liquid dish soap, water, and then corn syrup. So if you watched last week, when we did the or you've watched the video online of when we did the ocean layers density project, we used corn syrup. So I got the corn syrup, and that's what I put in for this set of bubbles. And then what you do is you pour it into a bowl or a container or something, and you can blow bubbles. It does say you can use it right away. I'm using it right away. I didn't leave it covered overnight. But some people say if you want the best results with this mixture for bubble making, you want to let it sit overnight, okay? So that's the first recipe I made. Now, I made another this one's a little bit simpler. You don't need as much stuff or as big of a quantity. So you just get a large cup, you pour in a 1/2 cup of dish soap, 1.5 cups of water. You add sugar to this one. That's the secret ingredient. You add sugar, and then you stir it, and then you blow your bubbles. So, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to grab my bubble mixtures that I have all set up for us for today. Okay, let's make it so you guys can hopefully see these. Okay, so this one, I should put it in the opposite way. So this is recipe number 1 that I told you guys about. This is the one that has the water, the dish soap, and the corn syrup in it, okay? So I'm going to take my handy dandy little bubble wand, and we're going to see which recipe is better for blowing bubbles, okay? So I'm going to dip it on in my bubbles. And typically, you should go do this outside. But if I unplug my computer from its charging because I need a new computer, it will die. And I want to make sure you guys can see this. So I'm going to blow them inside, but usually go outside and blow your bubbles. Okay? So let's see. Hopefully you guys can see when I blow the bubble. Oh, it popped right away. Try again. Ooh. Okay. Can you guys kind of see the bubbles? When they're, maybe, if they form a little bit better? Okay. Try again. Okay. Let's see. Ooh. Can you guys see? Did you see that bubble? Yeah. Okay. So this is recipe number 2. Okay. So see, a pipe cleaner actually works pretty well for making bubbles. Okay. Now I'm gonna try my square. I made a square one. Remember? Let's see if the square turns into a bubble shape or if it stays a square. Oh, I popped right away. Try that again. Oh, did you guys kind of see it? It was a bubble. It popped right away. I think they're right. I think if you really want to make homemade bubbles at home, you should let it, or try and let it sit overnight, because that gives you the best result. Ah, look, can you guys see that? It's sitting in my hand. It hasn't popped yet. The bubble's just chilling in my hand. And I pop it. See? Sometimes they will sit there until the molecules break up, and sometimes they pop right away. Okay, let's try recipe number 1 again. Okay. Ah! Did you guys see all those bubbles? They all blew backwards at me. Oh my goodness. I'm covered in all my stuff from bubbles. Towel. Okay. Ugh. So see, bubbles are something you can easily, simply do and make at home. I'm covered in bubbles now. So which one, you could kind of see a little bit. Which one do you guys think worked better? Recipe number 1 or recipe number 2?
1.
1.
1.
Yeah, I think recipe number 1 worked a little bit better. But like I said, that one also says to try and let it sit overnight. So maybe I'll keep it, see what it does tomorrow. But pipe cleaners, easy way to make a bubble wand. If you don't have bubbles at home and you just want to blow some bubbles. I just blew that one at the screen. But yeah, and like I said, you typically want to blow your bubbles outside, not so much inside. But I'm scared to unplug my computer because I do not think I would be able to keep you guys on the screen. Okay. So did anybody try and make their cardboard cars yesterday after we talked? Did any of them work?
I need rubber bands.
Looks like it worked pretty well though. You're muted, buddy. What are you saying?
He got to shape, but he needs his rubber band.
Oh, but it looks pretty good. And then if you want these recipes for bubbles, I know the one is on the website because it's in another document. And the other one, if you watch the video, if you watch this video again on YouTube, it was in the slideshow that I showed you guys. But who remembers what we are doing tomorrow? Anybody?
Tomorrow I'm making catapults.
Catapults. You're right. Okay. Tomorrow you guys will be making catapults. Sadly, I am traveling tomorrow for the 4th, so Stacy I think is gonna do my Zoom since I did her Zoom on Tuesday. But let's see. I'm gonna try some more bubbles. Should we try the square again? See if we can make a square bubble yet. Okay. Recipe number 1. Let's see if we can make a bubble. Oh, it popped. I think the square is not working for me. Just blowing. Okay. Try with circle again. So that might be something. Oh, also, you might want to try later this winter when it gets cold again. It's right now it's hot, but in the winter, you guys can actually test and see if you can make a bubble freeze. Okay, well, that's about all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys learned something new about bubbles. Did you all learn something new about bubbles? You learned something new about bubbles? Did you guys learn something new about bubbles? Good. I'm glad you all learned something new. I hope you will make your own bubbles at home now. But I will let you go enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I will see you guys all again on Monday. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good afternoon, guys. You guys gonna go make some bubbles now?
Yep. Abby,